Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
I'm very disturbed by it.
Children exposed to a disgusting act, a man touching himself in front of a group of girls walking to school in the North County. They were headed to Carmel Valley Middle School.
They passed the man who was just sitting in his car with the door wide open on Carmel Creek Road. Our reporter Anthony Pura is live at the school where police have increased their patrols tonight. Anthony.
And school administrators welcoming those extra patrols. This middle school here is next to a Boys and Girls Club. There's also an elementary school nearby. So with all these kids in the area, parents hope they find this guy soon before he exposes himself again. Classes ended for the day at Carmel Valley Middle School, making way for after-school activities. Just hours earlier, parents received a troubling alert.
Carmel Valley Middle School administration received information today about a man in the passenger side of a parked car on Carmel Creek Road, exposed and touching himself inappropriately with the car door wide open.
I'm very disturbed by it.
Laura Alper's son goes to the middle school. He sometimes walks to class and takes Carmel Creek Road.
It's just horrible when you hear that your own child could be exposed to that.
It happened Tuesday morning, about a block away from Carmel Creek Elementary School, but police say it was a group of 12-year-old girls walking to the middle school that saw the man in the car. They told officers it looked like the man had his pants down and was touching himself. The man never looked directly at any of the girls. The superintendent says now is a good time for parents to remind their kids about safe practices.
They need to stay together in groups. They need to be safe on our streets. To be aware of their surroundings.
Alper plans to have a talk with her son.
I will talk to him and I will just tell him, tell us, you tell the school staff if you have any concern.
Now, police say that the girls gave them varying descriptions of the man and the car, so they don't have anything concrete to work off of at the moment, but they are continuing to investigate. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. And as news develops with this story, count on 10 News to keep you updated on our mobile app. It's available in the App Store. Just search 10 News.
A fire rips through a backyard in Lemon Grove, burning dangerously close to homes.
10 News reporter Laura Acevedo explains this isn't the first time first responders have been called to this home.
The fire actually started behind this house you see here. Firefighters tell me they were actually storing several vehicles in the backyard. The homeowner trying to put out the flames before crews arrived. It was just before 8 when the owner of this house went to his neighbor begging him to call 911.
I looked and the whole back was just glowing, just huge.
A motorhome stored in the backyard was on fire. Firefighters say the flames spread to 3 other cars parked in the backyard.
Pretty scary because it was just lighting up the whole sky, and you know, my house is right here with my stuff that can easily go up in flames. And
this neighbor tried to help the owner put the flames out with garden hoses.
kind of panicking and just, turning on the hoses and dousing it as best we could.
Once firefighters arrived, the fire was out in 15 minutes. The fire didn't spread to the house and no one was hurt. This house, the same location where the sheriff's department responded to a call of gunfire in September, finding a man with a gunshot wound to his leg. Firefighters still investigating how the fire started. In Lemon Grove, Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
Investigators say the big fire that swept through a North County condominium complex last night was accidental. We brought you the breaking news last night at 11 o'clock as the flames tore through the building. The roof was destroyed. 6 units are unlivable. Neighbors reached out to those left homeless.
That's a good thing about this place. It's got a real sense of community. A couple of people came over from that to our place as a safe zone.
Investigators say the fire started because of burnable materials left too close to a heat source. The building has been red tagged.
1 week after a deadly shooting at a South Bay Church's Chicken, the restaurant has now reopened. 10 News was there today as employees and customers returned to the popular Otay Mesa West location. Last week, a man tried to use a counterfeit $100 bill to pay for food. When employees refused to take it, He came back in with a gun and opened fire. The manager was killed. 2 employees were hit. One of them is still in intensive care.
I think he still has a bullet lodged in his stomach, from my understanding. Spoke to his sister-in-law, and just, it's tragedy all the way around. Spoke to the captain, SDPD captain today as well, and they're hoping to have someone in custody really soon.
The owner added security cameras around the restaurant. Police are still looking for that killer.
Day one of public impeachment hearings into President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. 2 key witnesses publicly testified today about the Trump administration's efforts to pressure Ukraine for political purposes. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi shows the top U.S. official in Ukraine also indicated President Trump personally monitored the proposed investigations into the Bidens.
Wednesday, President Trump on the defensive, dismissing the first public hearing in the impeachment investigation as a, quote, witch hunt.
I hear it's a joke. I haven't watched for 1 minute.
The first 2 witnesses, the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, and a senior State Department official, George Kent, testifying side by side. Both men publicly stating that the president ordered nearly $400 million in military aid withheld from Ukraine for political purposes.
It was counterproductive to all of what we had been trying to do. It was illogical. It could not be explained. It was crazy.
Taylor then revealing since his closed-door testimony weeks ago, he learned new information about a phone call allegedly involving the president. The career diplomat telling Congress on July 26, 1 day after the president's controversial call with Ukraine's president, his staffer overheard the president asking U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, over the phone about, quote, the investigations.
The member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden.
An effort both men say was orchestrated by the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who they say was conducting a shadow diplomacy counter to America's national interest.
What interest do you believe he was promoting, Mr. Kent?
I believe he was looking to dig up political dirt against a potential rival in the next election cycle.
Republicans were quick to distance the 2 officials from the president, pointing out that aid was never actually withheld from Ukraine.
Did they get aid in FY18?
Yes, sir.
Have they gotten security assistance in FY19?
Yes, sir.
During his closed-door deposition, Sondland didn't mention a July 26 phone conversation with President Trump. Now, Sondland will have a chance to address that allegation when he publicly testifies next week. Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
The next public impeachment hearing is Friday, and you can count on ABC 10 News to carry it live, on air, online, and on our mobile app. It's been just over 6 months since the deadly shooting at the Chabad of Poway. The synagogue has made some changes since the horrific event. Rabbi Goldstein has stepped down to deal with PTSD from the shooting. He is replaced by his son. Meantime, the community is looking for unity during 4 days of events at the Shabbat San Diego.
It's focused on unity, peoplehood, rising together, being together, supporting each other, and just creating as much of a community as we already have and enhancing it even more.
The event is part of an international unity Shabbat that's held around the world.
All right, a crime alert tonight. Police are looking for the gang that went on a wild crime spree this morning in El Cajon. Investigators think that they are responsible for at least 4 incidents. The most violent came when they tried to steal a truck outside a home on Grant. The owner's nephew is a military vet. He confronted the gang and even caught one of them.
The guy stopped and said that, stop, I'm trying to make a living, so I kind of felt bad. But then his partner came up and reeled up and put a pistol up in my face.
Well, he tells us his soldier's instinct told him the man wouldn't shoot, so he kept on battling. The gang hopped in that getaway car, drove off. Police do believe the gang committed 2 other carjackings and a robbery between 5 and 6 o'clock this morning.
A Del Mar father has received the longest sentence yet in the college admissions scandal. A judge sentenced Toby McFarland to 6 months in prison today. He paid $200,000 to get his daughter into USC as a fake soccer recruit and $250,000 to get his son admitted as a basketball recruit. McFarland pleaded guilty in June. He will also serve 2 years supervised release and pay a $150,000 fine.
A proposed development hopes to turn a crumbling gas station in La Jolla into a modern housing complex. It's on the corner of Pearl and Eads in downtown La Jolla. The developer wants to pack 26 units on that half-acre site. 24 would be market rate, priced as much as $2,000 a month. 2 other units will be income restricted, starting at just $850 a month. The units would also come furnished.
We think that this is for younger people, frankly, who are, making their way up on the lowest rung of the housing ladder.
The current average monthly rent in La Jolla is more than $2,500.